turtle.
There's one sleeping.
Well, they can swim though. They're good swimmers. I think when they're not around, they dance.
I would concur with that wholeheartedly.
Turtles can dance whenever they're...
Turtles can definitely dance.
They just don't want us to see them.
Hydroelectricity is a renewable source of energy, and the most utilized renewable energy source in the world, with 20% of the world's electricity created by hydropower. Hydroelectricity is produced by harnessing the potential energy of water, one of the most abundant resources on Earth. Hydroelectric power is most commonly produced, and in high energy need situations always produced, with the use of a hydroelectric dam. The dam impounds water into a lake or reservoir, where the water can be released down into the dam, where it passes through a turbine, which powers a generator and creates electricity. My service learning period was spent with the Missouri Stream Team Watershed Coalition. The Missouri Stream Team Watershed Coalition, or MSTWC, is a not-for-profit organization made up of representatives of stream team associations throughout the state. Associations are groups of stream teams within watersheds who work together. As a not-for-profit, the MSTWC can write and receive grants used to support projects submitted by stream team associations. Now you might be wondering what a stream team is. A stream team is basically a concerned group of citizens who are virtuously donating their time to help keep our water clean. Anyone interested in creating or joining a stream team can receive training and equipment from MSTWC free of charge. MSTWC's mission is as follows. The coalition promotes and supports watershed-based stream team associations by serving as a resource for information, education, stewardship, and advocacy, by facilitating communication among associations, and by serving as a united voice for healthy watersheds in Missouri. One of the goals of MSTWC, in order to complement this mission, is education and outreach. Teaching healthy environmental lifestyles and spreading information on how our water sources connect to young minds help establish good practices for the future. MSTWC is currently working to establish a solid identity within the stream team community through education and outreach efforts. MSTWC works to provide educational tools and resources to the stream team program, stream team associations, and stream team members. With over 1.5 million volunteer hours over 20 years, stream teams have collected 13,594,000 pounds of garbage, planted nearly 200,000 trees, and conducted 21,000 plus monitoring trips in order to significantly improve our water quality. What are some of the main causes of water pollution worldwide, and then specifically in Southwest Missouri?
Okay, the first one that comes to my mind is sediment. So it's a form of non-point source pollution, which means you can't point to where it's coming from. But as we develop land and as we reduce agriculture, lots of dirt or soil gets eroded and carries lots of pollution with it and makes it into our waterways, which is the number one pollutant in the U.S. and a huge concern for Southwest Missouri.
The correlation between my topic and my service learning placement can be seen between the negative effects of hydroelectric dams and their impacts on the environment. Impoundment dams often contain cold, oxygen-poor water in their reservoirs. Fish and other creatures are unable to survive in these hostile conditions, severely damaging the affected ecosystems. When the water is released down through the dam, it can also impact other ecosystems downstream. Dams often cause large amounts of erosion up and downstream. When dams are built, the reservoir floods many acres of land, destroying wildlife habitations and occasionally dislocating residents. When the dam operates at higher capacities to create greater amounts of electricity, the extra water release downstream causes increased amounts of erosion. When vegetation is not properly cleared out of a reservoir, it decays, and forms a potent greenhouse gas, methane, which has sweeping negative impacts on the environment, and annuls the fact that hydropower doesn't release carbon dioxide. You might be wondering, how far does the extent of this damage really go?
Well, erosion pollutes water sources by picking up contaminants such as heavy metals or nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, and it carries that into the waterways. And then when certain conditions of the water changes, those pollutants actually come off the sediment or the soil and then are integrated into our lakes, rivers, and streams, which then can lead to issues.
What is a watershed? A watershed is an area of land where water comes to rest, whether it be from a river, lake, pond, groundwater, rain, or any other water source connected to the water basin. John Wesley Powell, scientific geographer, put it best when he said that a watershed is that area of land, a bounded hydrologic system, within which all living things are inextricably linked by their common watercourse, and where as humans settled, simple logic demanded that they become part of a community. Watersheds come in all shapes and sizes. They cross county, state, and national boundaries. In the continental U.S., there are 2,110 watersheds. When you include Hawaii, Alaska, and Puerto Rico, there are 2,267 watersheds. To conclude, polluting one source of water does not only affect that water source, but the other water sources connected downstream and the ensuing watershed, which can lead to serious environmental problems. How specifically do hydroelectric dams disrupt the processes used by stream teams? One of the most common ways that stream teams test water pollution is invertebrate testing. A large net is dragged through a creek or a riverbed. Loose rocks are upturned, and the bed is generally disturbed. The different species of invertebrates located in the net and their different tolerances of pollution are used to determine how clean the water source is. When this testing is done near a watershed, it can be used to determine the cleanliness of all the water sources that drain into that specific basin. When hydroelectric dams disrupt ecosystems and kill organisms with oxygen-poor water, invertebrate testing can be skewed, and time cleaning and searching for sources of pollution can be wasted on an already healthy stream, rather than a source of water that needs more attention in order to keep it clean and safe.
I support hydroelectricity in already operating hydroelectric power plants. Dams have obviously caused major ecological issues in the environment. So, however, that's happened in a lot of places, and we have a lot of impounded rivers and streams, and dams are already in place, and hydroelectric power is in place. So if we can use that or those that are already existing, I think that's great. It's clean energy. But if you're asking if we're building dams, I would say absolutely not.
In the end, when you compare the facts and the conclusion drawn in my paper with the field studies and goals of my service learning, the stance on hydroelectricity is the same. There are not enough places in the United States to accommodate new dams in order to rely more on hydropower than fossil fuels, and the damage caused to ecosystems by the creation of more dams would do more harm than good to our environment. Specifically, in southwest Missouri, our water quality is healthy and the flow of our rivers is weak. So we are a prime example of a place that would be harmed by the creation of a new hydroelectric dam. When dealing with water, a resource critical to our survival, one must always be careful.
The only other thing I can think of is for stewardship is a big part of making our water a better place, and stewardship meaning just getting out and playing your part and helping our water resources. So that's one word of encouragement I would have is if you have the ability to join a stream team or join some effort in your community where you can either pick up litter, monitor the water, just any way you can get involved and help protect our waterways, that would be great.